Staying Ahead of the Corrupt Government, a Guide for UK Citizens. Introduction. In challenging times, staying informed and empowered is essential. Corruption in government can lead to diminished trust, misuse of resources, and policies that fail to serve the public interest. This guide provides practical steps for individuals to stay ahead of and actively counteract corruption in the UK government, ensuring transparency, accountability, and justice. Additionally, it highlights the importance of critical media consumption, as mainstream outlets may not always provide the full picture. Chapter 1. Understanding Corruption in Governance. What is government corruption? Corruption in government refers to the misuse of public power or resources for personal gain or to maintain control over political systems. It undermines democracy and often results in policies that harm the general populace while favoring a select few. Understanding its various forms is the first step in combating it effectively. Definition: corruption involves the abuse of power for personal or political gain. It erodes trust and undermines democratic principles. Forms: bribery, offering money, gifts, or services to influence decision-making. Embezzlement, diverting public funds into private accounts. Nepotism, favoring family members or close associates in appointments or contracts. Vote rigging, manipulating electoral processes to secure undeserved victories. Policy mismanagement, developing policies that benefit a minority elite while neglecting public welfare. Recognizing signs of corruption. Being able to identify corruption is crucial for taking action. Here are common indicators that corruption may be at play. Opaque processes, lack of transparency in government decision-making. Sudden wealth, unexplained accumulation of wealth among public officials. Suppression of opposition, using laws or force to silence critics. Unfair policies, disproportionate benefits to corporations or a specific group. Frequent scandals, repeated exposure of misuse of public funds or power. Case studies, learning from real events. Real-world examples highlight the devastating effects of corruption and the role of vigilant citizens and organizations in exposing it. Case Study 1. The MP Expenses Scandal. In 2009, a major scandal rocked the UK when it was revealed that many MPs had exploited expense claims for personal benefit. This led to widespread public outrage, resignations, and new reforms in expense reporting. Impact showed the importance of transparency in holding officials accountable. Citizen role, investigative journalism, and whistleblowers played a key part. Case Study 2. COVID-19 contract mismanagement. During the pandemic, contracts worth billions were awarded without competitive tendering, raising questions about favoritism and inefficiency. Some contracts were awarded to companies with little to no experience in the required fields. Impact highlighted the need for stricter oversight and fair procurement processes. Citizen role, advocacy groups demanded transparency and pursued legal challenges. Why understanding corruption matters. A well-informed citizenry is the backbone of any democracy. By understanding the dynamics of corruption, citizens can better scrutinize government actions. Communities can organize effectively to demand accountability. Pressure can be applied to implement systemic reforms to prevent future corruption. Chapter 2. Media literacy in the age of misinformation. The role of media in exposing corruption. Media outlets often play a pivotal role in uncovering and reporting corruption. However, not all media is created equal. While mainstream outlets like The Guardian and BBC are influential, they may not always provide balanced or comprehensive reporting. Corporate influences, government funding, and editorial biases can shape the narratives presented. Why mainstream media isn't always reliable ownership and influence. Many mainstream outlets are owned by large corporations or funded by the government, which can affect their coverage. Selective reporting. Stories that challenge powerful interests may be underreported or omitted entirely. Framing and bias. Even reputable sources can use language and framing that subtly favor one side. How to evaluate news sources. To stay truly informed, it's important to critically analyze the news you consume. Diversify your sources. Don't rely solely on one outlet. Compare reports from various platforms, including independent and international media. Check for bias. Be aware of a publication's ownership and political leanings. Fact-check claims. Use fact-checking organizations. Not all are equal. Seek alternative perspectives. Explore grassroots journalism, investigative platforms, and citizen-led initiatives. Recommended independent media. For a broader perspective, consider exploring less conventional outlets, investigative journalism platforms, Open Democracy, ProPublica, international outlets, Al Jazeera, Reuters, The Economist, grassroots initiatives, and independent podcasts. Building media resilience. Being media literate means questioning and cross-referencing information to form a well-rounded understanding of events. Supporting independent journalism and avoiding echo chambers will ensure a more accurate grasp of the truth. Chapter 3. Taking direct action. Organizing community watchdog groups. Local groups can monitor government activities, demand transparency, and hold officials accountable. Use tools like petitions, social media campaigns, and public forums to amplify your voice. Leveraging Freedom of Information (FOI) requests. The UK's FOI Act allows citizens to request information from public authorities. Learn how to file requests effectively to uncover critical data and challenge opaque processes. Supporting whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are vital in exposing corruption. Advocate for stronger protections and encourage safe reporting practices. Chapter 4. Lobbying for systemic change. Advocating for policy reforms, engage with advocacy groups to push for laws that increase government transparency and reduce corruption. Examples include campaign finance reform, strengthening anti-corruption agencies, mandatory disclosure of public officials' assets, voting strategically, participate actively in elections, and educate yourself about candidates' platforms. Support those who prioritize accountability and reform. Conclusion. Staying ahead of corruption requires vigilance, media literacy, and collective action. By understanding the signs of corruption, critically analyzing information, and taking proactive steps, citizens can build a stronger, more transparent democracy in the UK. Finally, consider joining the Free Speech Union or Big Brother Watch, the bedrock on which all our other freedoms rest. Free speech is the bedrock on which all our other freedoms rest, yet it is currently in greater peril than at any time since the Second World War. The Free Speech Union is a non-partisan, not-for-profit membership organization that stands up for people whose right to freedom of expression has been violated. Not only do we pressure institutions to uphold their own free speech policies through direct challenges and media scrutiny, but we also litigate when we believe they've acted unlawfully. This work is particularly urgent in the present climate, with people being cancelled every day for daring to challenge the latest ideological dogma, either in the workplace or public square. As a member of the Free Speech Union, you gain access to an invaluable support network that will come to your aid if you ever find yourself in trouble for something you've said. The FSU ensures that every voice, no matter how controversial or challenging, has the right to be heard without fear. In an era where speaking one's mind can lead to unforeseen consequences, it's reassuring to know that with the FSU, you're never navigating those challenges alone. About Big Brother Watch. Today, you are watched by a network of intelligent surveillance systems. You are tracked by your personal devices, monitored by social platforms, and targeted by invasive corporations. You may not know their names, but they know yours. Every decision is collected and archived somewhere by someone. We do not consent. We do not submit.